Hi everybody, Craig here. Welcome back to the Battle for Wesnoth campaign, Eastern Invasion. In our last episode, we completed Scenario 15, and I'm ultimately pretty happy with how things went, although we did run a pretty serious gold deficit and end up with negative finishing gold. That just means we're going to start the next scenario with minimum starting gold. Although overall, I mean, I think this scenario went about as well as it could have. We didn't lose anybody. We did get a few level ups and even an evolution or two. And so overall, I'm just happy we didn't lose anybody and we made it through okay. Now, before I jump into the next scenario, I did just want to give a couple of quick shout outs to a few individuals who left some excellent comments on the previous episode. The first of those comments is from B. Beryllium. Now, Beryllium pointed out that fortunately I should be able to do the next two scenarios with minimum starting gold, provided I make some good decisions and sort of follow a decent strategy. Beryllium is suggesting that in the next scenario, I just focus on defending the center. So presumably there's going to be maybe some kind of options or, maybe a good, better, best sort of setup where you could get ambitious, and I'm going to try not to be ambitious. At least that's what I'm reading into Beryllium's comment here. The next comment here is from Oni Rusanen. Just a good reminder from Oni, as always, to make sure I'm always taking advantage of leadership and illuminate benefits where possible. And that includes moving the units that provide leadership to benefit units that are attacking, and then potentially still moving the unit that has leadership out to attack afterwards. Because remember, you can always move units partially, have other units do things, and then keep moving that original unit further if they still have the movement left to do so. And that brings up a good point. If you ever do notice, and this just is for everybody, if you notice something that you've maybe mentioned or that another commenter has mentioned and reminded me of, and you notice I'm still not doing it, or something I've forgotten, please don't hesitate to drop another comment and leave a good reminder, because it's so easy to forget these things, especially kind of in the heat of the moment. And it just serves as a good reminder and a good learning opportunity for everybody. So I appreciate Oni kind of dropping the reminder once again. Next comment here is from Narcissus. Narcissus mentioned that the Bowman is the MVP of the campaign, and honestly, I'm pretty inclined to agree. I mean, all of my tier 3 units here, my level 3 units, have been doing extremely well for me. I mean, I really like these ogres especially, but I would be very much inclined to agree that the Bowman with that crystal quiver has been really carrying certain moments and certain scenarios. So definitely extremely thankful to have him. And then finally here, there's a comment from Roge Tebnalok. Roge pointed out that I may need to reach an allied camp in the next scenario, and in order to do so, I would need fast-moving units to get there quickly, and then to have my slower units play defense. And I'm wondering if this is, I'm kind of trying to predict based on what Beryllium said. I'm wondering if maybe I have to defend a base or defend an area, and then also try to help or do some other objective. And maybe that, I don't know if that other one's optional or not, but if it is, I may just have to cut my losses and go for the most, what would you call it? Sort of the minimum strategy or the most conservative strategy. But maybe I'm reading too much in. So as always, guys, a big thank you for the excellent comments and suggestions. Extremely appreciated. Let's jump into the next scenario and see what's going to happen. Leaving the rotting horse plains far behind, Gweddry, Owiek, and Dacyn marched hurriedly towards Weldon, capital of Wesnoth. They dreaded what they might find there. Return to Wesnoth. Lo and behold, the great city of Weldon. Its walls still stand, thank the light. But look, the undead are laying siege and have built fortifications completely surrounding the city. The defenders must be grievously outnumbered. Even this undead force appears to be but a small fraction of Malravenel's greater host. I must meet with the king. Weldon will fall if we do not act. Then we must break through to the city at once. Come on, men, follow me. Well, try again. It is absolutely imperative that we get a response from the Northerners. If help was coming, we would have heard about it by now. They're either unwilling or unable to march. What we need to consider is... Urgent report from the south, sire. I'm afraid it can't wait. Denogik, you're excused. Get some rest. Minister Methel, what news of Kurlath? The siege around Weston has been broken, but Kurlath's forces are badly depleted. I'm afraid we won't be able to mount a counter-offensive in time to support you, especially with Lliah-Malal still holding Fort Ton. Oh, what now? My liege, your former High Advisor Dacyn is here, and he says he has vital information on how to defeat the undead. Dacyn, at last some good news. I thought you were long dead. He certainly looks half dead. Dacyn, there is an unholy pall over your skin. Where have you been all this time? We've sorely needed your help. My story and appearance are irrelevant. What matters is that I know how to defeat these invaders. The only path to victory is cutting off the head of the snake, Lliah-Malal, who you once knew as the mage Raven, must be destroyed. You think we haven't tried? Our best mages struck down that infernal lich at great cost to their number, but within seconds, Lliah-Malal had already taken a new body and returned the favor on our ranks. I myself barely made it out alive. And that is why my companions and I have spent the past year traveling far to the northeast, seeking a potent magical amulet that I now possess. If we can destroy the skeletal body, I wield the power to banish the lich's long-tortured soul. This destruction will be permanent. Your Majesty, I have seen this amulet used before. While I cannot attest to its reliability, it certainly is powerful enough to do what Dacyn claims. Even assuming this magical voodoo works, how do you mean to destroy Lliah-Mal's body? The one chance we had was out of the lich's own arrogance, and even that cost us 4 of our elite magi under better conditions. Now we've been cut off from Dantonk, and barely have enough men to hold the walls, much less sortie against the undead. Truly, have you three not seen the might of the armies encircling Weldon? It is as if all of the dead warriors from all ages past have come back to attack us. There is no end to the columns of marching skeletons, the wailing ghosts, the infernal bats, the necromancers who raised them. I pay no heed to the odds. I say we strike at Lliah-Malal with all the might of Wesnoth. If we assault in force, we can punch through the enemy lines, isolate Lliah-Malal in the chaos of battle, and blast the lich to oblivion. I will not let the devastation at the plains be the final legacy of the clans. We must attack and win back our glory. I have a superior suggestion. Lliah-Mal's armies are vast and unconquerable, yet the lich alone is not. As a human, Raven was overconfident to the point of arrogance. I still believe this to be true, if not more so after gaining lichdom. If I were to challenge Lliah-Malal to a duel, I believe they would choose to face me. That would be our opportunity. You call Lliah-Malal arrogant, yet you seek to face such an overwhelming power in single combat? Even if you could claim victory with that foul amulet of yours, we cannot trust that lich to honor the terms of such a challenge. You would likely find yourself facing their entire army. We face their entire army regardless. The only difference is whether Mal Ravenel is commanding in the back or gloating in the front. Two risky plans. But the armies surrounding Weldon grow each day, and we are hard-pressed for options. Sire, we're under attack. Undead have breached the perimeter earthworks and are massing around the outer villages. I think they mean to storm the moat at nightfall. They attack again so soon? The few men we have left are in no position to repel a concentrated assault. This is ill news indeed. We will have to cut our council short. Generals, Lieutenant, ready your men. 11th hour. Undead approach at the northern crossings. My forces are in position to engage the invaders. The southeastern bridges are secure. Hostiles inbound. My fortifications are manned and ready. Brace for attack from the southwest. Night approaches, and with it the undead hordes. I stand ready. Let us show these undead the might of Wesnoth. And so it comes to this, here at what seems the end of days. Prepare for battle. Alright, well, I'm going to count that, I guess, was sort of just like a story scenario as scenario 16. So this is now scenario 17, 11th hour. So our victory condition is to survive the undead assault, and we have 19 turns left. Our bonus objective is to protect the generals, Halrad, Halric, and Halrod. Our defeat conditions are the death of Dacyn or the death of Conrad II. Interestingly, Gweddry isn't even included in here, so presumably if Gweddry died, it wouldn't end things, which is kind of unbelievable. Gold carryover, we're going to have early finish in effect, 40% of gold to the next scenario. Although presumably, yeah, so we only have 19 turns. So if we just do the survive the assault, we're not going to end early. Conrad II will not leave the center island. Generals will reinforce each bridgehead while they have... Sorry, let me read that again. Generals will reinforce each bridgehead while they or you have defenders there, falling back to their castle otherwise. If you decide not to duel Mal Ravenel, surviving generals will aid you in the next scenario. Okay, so I'm assuming we, like, again, it sounded like we have a choice between sort of two options. And if we make the choice to not duel Mal Ravenel one-on-one, then any generals that survive are going to come with us. So, wow, this is pretty interesting. This is a huge map. Well, the city itself is huge, I guess. Okay, so here you can see we've got a Death Knight in the south. We've got Necromancer to the southeast. We've got a Necromancer to the northeast. We've got a Lich to the direct north. Holy, we are just totally surrounded. A Death Knight to the northwest. And a Lich to the southwest. Boy, yeah, this is going to be a tough fight. So, realistically, I think our only hope here... And now I can kind of see why we might have a shot at this even with less gold. As you can see, we only have 50 starting gold, so we're going to be running... Oh, but look at that. Plus 39 gold per turn, so that's pretty incredible. So we will hopefully be able to recruit units as it goes. I'm just sort of panning around to see what we've got here. So lots of places to defend. You know, none of these are all just like city tiles, which I'm assuming have, kind of higher defense than. But the thing I was going to say is I can see why we can do this with less gold, presumably, because all we really have to do is keep Conrad II alive. And Dacyn, of course. And if these generals get killed, it's not the end of the world. I mean, obviously it's not desirable, but if they do die, it sort of is what it is. And really all we have to do is defend this center island here. Like, this is like our fallback point here. And you can see it's surrounded by a moat. So we could just post up here and play like ultimate defense if we really had to. Obviously not super desirable in that, you know, we would leave everybody else to die. But that's honestly probably what we're going to have to do, because it is just extremely nasty out here. There's so many enemies, and we just don't have the gold or the number of units to really defend appropriately. I'm just looking at villages, so we've got 37 out of 98. So yeah, let's think about who we want to recall. So we're starting off. We have our loyal units. So we have Grug, we have Gweddry, we have Dacyn, and Owiek. And we actually have control of Conrad, so we can move him around. He's the king of Wesnoth. He's a level 5 unit. Oh, nice, and he has the Scepter of Fire. I do remember that from a previous campaign, Heir to the Throne. And that makes sense, because the Scepter, I believe, is sort of the marker of the king of Wesnoth. And so that makes sense that he would have it. Interestingly, he has a neutral alignment. I find that kind of odd. But maybe he has to kind of be sort of, you know, ultimately, he has to make some kind of not so nice decisions, and that's kind of why he's neutral, being that he's the king. I guess you sort of would want sort of like an unbiased king, right? Okay, so, sorry, enough of my yammering. Let's figure out where we want to go. Again, I think we really want to just make sure we have a good grip on this center island. That's all that really matters to me at this point. And if these if these bridges end up coming under attack, I mean, it is what it is. But let's see. So let's think about who we want to bring back first. Fortunately, we can bring back our ogres at lower cost, and that is one of the nice benefits of them. So I think what we'll do is we will recall some ogres here. Grab our... and then another thing I might do, since it's early here, we can always bring our diviner in for the extra healing, which is good. Our rune master does have the bane blade. We remember that. We know how powerful our bowman is, obviously, and having our mage of light is really good. I feel like the mage of light is going to be actually more important here, given that Dacyn is still a twilight mage and does not provide poison healing, and so I think that's going to mean he's even more important in that way. Now that's going to do it for us. We can't really recruit any further, given that our gold supplies are so limited. So maybe we will end it here. I mean, I guess I could move Owiek around, but I don't know. Okay, so yeah, some of our generals have these villages. I don't know if it's like maybe a good idea for me to steal them and get a little extra gold. Let's go see. Sire, you are of course welcome to capture any of my villages if you need them, but please know that it will make it more difficult to heal my injured soldiers. Okay, well that's good to know. So maybe I shouldn't do that. Let's end it there. Okay, so the villagers are all hiding, which is good, because they're going to get slaughtered otherwise. Okay, nice. So they're recruiting troops. Looks like they can recruit probably level 1 and level 2, which isn't going to stand up very well to onslaught of level 3 units, which we're going to probably face. So I think what I'm going to do is really just play it, again, play it super safe, stay back. What I might do, though, is pick one bridge to kind of try and sort of pseudo-help. And if I'm able to help them, great. And if not, then I'll just pull back. Like, maybe I work on sort of the northern angle here. Yeah, it looks like it's mostly level 2 undead that are being recruited. Mix of level 1 and level 2. Okay, well, that's good at least. So hopefully we're not going to get flooded with, like, level 3 units. No, this is looking like it's really going to be primarily level 1, level 2. Although, I think, yeah, interestingly, they are recruiting other necromancers. I guess they're level 2 dark sorcerers, but still. So, I could see where if you had just a boatload of gold, you could potentially just recruit like a fast-moving group of like paladins or whatever and try to sweep around, like, you know, start push out in one direction, kind of start sweeping around and just try to go in sort of maybe a circular motion and you know, take on all, or split your army and go different directions if you had enough. But I mean, obviously for me, that's just not a possibility. I'm not going to steal any more villages from... I'm going to try to leave them with as much as they can to give them the best chance to defend and take more time. And then what we will do is we will... I think we'll just watch... Yeah, as the undead come across. I mean, I'll leave Owiek up here. I can always pull him back because, of course, he is so mobile. I feel like down here, though, we're not going to have a lot of luck. So I'm thinking I might just leave everybody in here and just let the turns pass. Like, that sounds really kind of sad, but I feel like that's the safest play. And we just let this kind of go out here because there's too many directions for me to really do anything. So let's see who else we want to bring back here. I think we just bring everybody back, honestly, if we can. So each turn we'll be able to bring a couple more. Let's see, Paladin. Yeah, our Paladin would be good to have that extra mobility. I'll put him down here. That way, if we need to kind of go out and do something, we have a mobile unit to do that. And then up here we can do... Oh, yeah, we don't have any more gold. So I think we'll just end it there. And, yeah, honestly, I'm happy to just let this go and leave these poor generals to their fates. Yeah, and so these generals are level 3, but they're the only level 3 unit out there, so they are not going to last long against an undead onslaught. I do get the feeling this scenario may take a bit of time just because there's so many units that are moving and acting every turn. Not that I'm complaining, just that we may have a part 1 and 2. We'll have to see how it goes. Yeah, and look at this. They're just recruiting tons every turn, it looks like. Yikes. Bone Knights with charge. We have to be very careful. Chocobones. We know how devastating those can be. All these poor defenders are in trouble here already. It's too bad they don't have some white mages to help provide healing support. Looks like each of the enemy leaders is guarded by some pretty strong level 2, level 3 units here that are loyal. You can see them kind of strategically positioned, which would make it way harder if you were trying to kind of sally forth and attack, you know. Yeah, it's interesting that there's those level 2 dark sorcerers coming at us now. Yeah, this one's going to jump around a bit as they're... Oh my gosh, look at all those dark sorcerers. Kind of wish it would just... One would recruit all the units and then the other one would, rather than it continuing to jump back and forth. Probably making everybody a little dizzy. Gweddry, do you recognize me? Do you remember in the Estmarks when you mercilessly cut down my defenseless sister? You escaped me once before, but now I will have my revenge. Revenge. Oh, I wonder if that's his sister that he turned into a corpse there. Yeah, it is, I think. Soulless. Um, Malskarat, Malkalat. I don't remember which scenario that was in, but that is kind of interesting that they've sort of brought back the recurring characters like that. Yeah, so I'm just looking to see what they're facing on each side. So really, yeah, this is going to get untenable for us to play defense fully. There's just too much. Like, even up here with Owiek, if we were to try to assist, I mean, the undead can cross the water as well, so it's not like the bridge is even really a natural choke point. I mean, it is, but, like, look at that. They can still, this Deathblade can just zip across the water. So you would need to put units kind of all here. So, yeah, I think what we'll do is I'll leave Owiek where he is, but I'll probably just pull him back very shortly. There's nobody really playing much defense in the middle here. There's a couple of units that are going to get slaughtered very, very quickly, I'm sure. There's a longbowman kind of on his own down there. I just want to see something. So if I move in here... Yeah, so these tiles are considered as good as villages, I think. Oh, no, they're not. Wait, let me see. Oh, yeah, they are. That's wonderful, though. So if you're in... Although that actually is a village, my bad. I want to see what... Yeah, so these tiles, that's what I was trying to find out. These tiles are the exact same as a village in terms of defense offering for most units. So that's really good. I think what we'll do then is we'll bring back our Diviner just for the healing. And we'll probably keep that unit inside. And then we might as well just bring everyone back, or at least the units that we can make most use of. The Netcaster may not be quite as useful, although could sit in the shallow water to get additional healing there. Or additional defense, I mean. So we might want to do that too. But now we again have used up all our gold, so it is very nice that at least it gives us some gold to work with. I think that's all we're going to do. We're just going to let this go every turn. Maybe that's a stupid thing to do, but I don't really think trying to do anything crazy is going to be of use for us. I feel like it's going to take them probably, I don't know, let's say maybe 7 or 8 turns to really get to us. I mean, to get to us in the center, like probably by around turn 10, they should be in here is what I'm thinking. Because they're going to cut through these guys pretty fast. I suppose we are going to miss out on some experience gains and things like that by us kind of sitting back. But... Ooh, that's a risky play there. Come on, get that kill. Nice, good work from that fencer. Killed a Deathblade. Things are getting nasty down here. Poor Bowman is getting blasted. Oh, yikes. This heavy infantryman is surrounded. Good job from this Bowman holding his ground here. Long Bowman. This poor mage. It'd be nice to see them somebody level up rather than die, but I suspect all these units are about to be killed off here. It is kind of fun seeing a scenario where there's so many different forces, right? All of the undead are united under a single banner of this sort of the teal blue, and then each of the different generals is its own army, and then obviously Conrad is leading the main force. Oh, that poor fencer. He did all that work to kill the Deathblade, and then he was mercilessly slaughtered. And similar to, well, the classic thing with necromancers and the undead, of course, is that, you know, each unit that dies is just another body to add to the undead forces, right? Quite insidious. Oh, man, yeah, this is not going well. I was maybe even being a little bit overly, what do you call it? Overly optimistic in that it would take them 10 turns to get to the center. It's probably only going to take them 7 or 8. And then we will have to play defense on all fronts, and that could be very hard to do. At least down here, things are a little bit better. Like, where the actual generals are, like, to the immediate north, the immediate, I guess you would say, sort of southeast and southwest, it's a little bit better. It's in the spots where the generals aren't fully, they don't have as many units. It's spread much more thin. But yeah, I'd love to see, you know, in a sort of alternate timeline, how things would have gone if I had a much bigger army or, you know, way more gold to work with. Because I think you probably, again, it would be kind of fun to try and truly play defense here and not just sit back and let my allies get slaughtered. I suspect that would be very challenging, and it would probably take quite a bit of time because you've got all these different fronts upon which you have to kind of defend. But I think that could be really quite neat. I think what we'll do here is we're going to pull Owaik back because I don't want him even getting into the fight until we have to. Meanwhile, let's continue to solidify our grip here. I will bring the Netcaster back. And then we have 30 gold, so now we'll recruit a few units. This is the first time we've recruited anybody in quite a while, so maybe I will finally get a fencer and try to level him up a little bit. That's been kind of the bane of my existence this whole campaign, is every time we tried with a fencer, he's gotten killed. Of course, with only 30 gold, we could only do, if a unit is over 15 gold, we can only do one of them this turn. Might also be nice to have a mage try to level up. You know, I would love to get the other side of the mage evolution, not just the white mage, but the red mage, I think it is. And I think there's also the silver mage that can teleport. I've never really gotten one of those to use. We saw one in that cutscene whereby that mage teleported in to talk to Conrad. It'd be kind of cool to have one of those. Yeah, let's just do a fencer, and then we'll call it. It's interesting. These units don't seem to give me additional upkeep cost, which is kind of odd. Because my income isn't changing here. It's just 40. So, yeah, we'll just keep this going here. Nice thing, too, we've got lots of units that provide light, as you can see there. So even in the dark, we're going to be at least fighting sort of as if it was dawn or dusk. This is kind of depressing, honestly, because it's just watching our units get kind of steamrolled here. But yeah, at least where the generals are sitting, it's going to take a few more turns for the undead to really get in there and cause maximum damage. Put up a little bit more of a fight over here. Oh, that poor bowman. He really should have stayed in a higher defense tile. And that poison. Going back to what Roach Tebnalok had mentioned, I can totally see where if you had a group of fast-moving units, like I said, you know, earlier, maybe a group of paladins or something like that, where they can really go quickly, you could use them to try to overwhelm kind of one or two of the enemy encampments, kill off those leaders, and then use that to kind of build momentum sweeping around, because the enemy is sending most of their forces in towards the center island here. And so if you could kind of then sweep around from the edge and attack that way, I could see where you could make progress, because then the enemy camps aren't as well defended because the bulk of their forces have pressed inwards. So if you could get yourself an initial foothold by killing off one of the enemy bases and then using that as a staging point from which to then advance further. And what's also cool is once you take one of those camps, you could use Owiek or whoever, or Gweddry, I'm assuming, to act as like mobile recruitment units. And then from there you could recruit additional forces to then continue the snowball effect. That's sort of me just, you know, thinking out loud in terms of what the strategy would be if you had, let's not say unlimited resources, but far less limited resources. Oh, and there goes that longbowman. Well, they're putting up a valiant effort, but it's only a matter of time here. Oh. Nice work from that spearman playing defense. Yeah, it's too bad that swordsman here should be in a higher defense spot, like either here in the town or in the on the village or something. He's caught out in the open, which is not a great spot for him. You can see he's just getting surrounded and mauled. Oh yeah, like, again, we're on turn 4, and already the southern flank has pretty much fallen entirely. There's one unit left, I think, down there. Like, look at, kind of to the point I was making. So now, if you were to push around, I mean, obviously they're the loyal units kind of there stationed specifically to make it harder to do the strategy I was mentioning. But you could see how, like, most of the forces have pushed down. You could sweep across the side and kind of attack that way. You'd have to, like, send out strike forces, right? I think that would be the way to do it. And still have kind of a group that are in the center to play defense as needed. Okay, so they are now right next to the general. He's going to be in pretty tough. And, of course, on the village, like, you know, he should have just had units all around him. Would have been the smart thing to do. I've said it before, but I really appreciate sort of the scale of this fight, right? That we're seeing, you know, really like an entire city siege. This is pretty cool. Oh man, those Dark Sorcerers certainly hit hard with their magic. I would have really liked to have gotten one of them. in that scenario a couple scenarios back where I was freeing the enslaved units. But of course, I didn't have the right loyal unit to be able to recruit that dark sorcerer, or I guess it would have been a dark adept, but would have been very neat to have had one. Oh man, well this is really depressing. This southern flank has already fallen, so we definitely want to make sure we're kind of secure down here. Again, Dacyn and Conrad are the two that need to live. I was almost thinking, like, if you really had to, rather than trying to turtle here, it would be almost easier if you could find a spot to, like, truly, you know, like, put yourself in a corner and just put Conrad and Dacyn in the back corner and let all your other units act as just kind of the buffer. Try to really, like, bottleneck the enemy forces. So yeah, I don't think it's worth sending Owiek in there to try to help at all. Like, I think we continue to just pull back, play it kind of safe as best we can. I will perhaps, yeah, so like here, higher defense out there. So let's then recall, ooh, there's nobody else to recall. That's right. So we'll recruit maybe a few more. I think we're going to need just some bodies here to throw at the enemy. So let's do... We've got a fencer already. Let's do maybe a mage. And we can do a... We could do 2 fencers here. Maybe we do heavy infantry. Let's just do 2 more fencers, honestly. And then we will move off the paladin here. Recruit another one. Again, I think that's smart. We're just going to build up as many troops as we can. And then just sit tight. This is kind of depressing watching all my allies just get whittled away here. Well, at least they're getting a few kills. It's kind of feels so hopeless, though. The Deathblade has so many attacks. Hey, there's that leadership bonus getting applied. Nice to see. Oh, just about. Come on, land that kill. Yeah, there you go. You're gonna die, but good job for that fencer. And yeah, I'm gonna just keep recruiting every turn as many cannon fodder units as possible, with the intention of just using them to hopefully kind of continue to delay the inevitable. And even with that sorcerer in the water, he still missed at least one of those attacks. It is quite annoying how high defense those bats have. Just they're hard to hit, right? And then with that life steal they have. It's nice to be able to use magic to kill them, obviously, or ranged attacks at the very minimum. Boy, you could really get a lot of experience in this fight if you were being aggressive and had a big army and could send it out to really, you know, cause maximum damage. can see you just raking in the experience in this one because there's so many units to fight, so many things to kill. It's kind of odd. They seem to almost be pulling back. Oh, and that makes sense because it's about to be daytime. I'm assuming, anyway, that's what they're doing. Stand strong, men of Wesnoth. Rally under the light of dawn and drive the undead back. Oh, hello. Am I interrupting something? It's been fun watching this little squabble unfold, but it's time to move things along. Night will now fall, and the city with it. Not if I stop you first. I defeated you before, and I will do so again. Ah, Dacyn. Picked up a few tricks, have we? But your understanding is a bit shallow. Observe how it is done. Bleed black, the fabric of firmament. Open wide the maw of the darkness between worlds. Swallow the day and swallow the sun, and leave eternal night to remain. Uh-oh. Dark scary. Not like. I'm nearly blind in this fog, but I think the undead have been reinforced. Uh-oh. Well, that's terrifying. So now we are in perpetual night for the next 15 turns, it looks like. Holy. Around these little torches, it's a little bit brighter. And then obviously, thankfully, we have our illumination here. But really, we are not going to have any benefit of daytime now. Oh my goodness. Well, this just got a lot harder. And not only that, but we can't see anything. Like, we have, like, the fog of war now. Alright, well, let's just keep recruiting. I don't know what else we can do. So, let's see. Who else do we want to bring back here? We'll pull our Mage of Light into the back, and then we will recruit. We've got enough to do 2, probably. Unless we do a Mage, but... Maybe we do 1 Mage, actually, now that I say that. We'll do 1 Mage, and then next turn we can do something else. 3 units sighted. Yeah, so some friendly, some enemy. Alright, well, that's going to do it. We'll end it there. It's unfortunate. It seems like Dacyn isn't powerful enough to go toe-to-toe with Mal-Ravenel. Even with the amulet. Oh, would have been nice to kill that Deathblade. Oh, nice. He did die. R.I.P. Ooh, there's a bone shooter. Oh, there's a revenant too, man. Uh-oh. I think Allrad is not long for this world. Uh-oh. Yeah, now they are truly on our doorstep here. You see? Mal Ravenel has grown too powerful. Wesnoth is helpless. Use the amulet. There is no other way. Use us. I must defeat Raven. I must be strong enough to stand alone. I alone must wield this fullness of power. Oh, wow. Now, Dacyn is a fallen mage. Let's see what that entails. Darkens. This unit darkens the surrounding area, making chaotic units fight better and lawful units fight worse. Any unit adjacent to this unit will fight. So it's like the inverse of these Illuminate units. Let's see. Loyal, and he's audacious. Fights normally during unfavorable times of day or night. And his melee attack is now a touched attack that drains. He's basically become almost like a lich. What's this rotting? Immune to poison, drain, and plague. Darkens. Oh yeah, and that's that aura. Wow, that's interesting. So he's really given himself over to the amulet, which is quite a bummer. That said, maybe that's the only way to win here. I don't know. Whoops. I think we'll leave our Rune Master there. It's unfortunate because we don't want him giving this this sort of negative energy over to all the other units via this Darken effect. I think we'll move our... We definitely want healing on our units at the edges here. I think we'll move our sorcerers in, or our mages, I should say. We should probably get some of our stronger units to kind of reinforce this position on the edge here. So why don't we move... Ooh, yeah, Grog maybe, or you know what? Where's our bowman at? Yeah, let's get our bowman over there. Get that MVP in play here. And then I think we will move our healer out of the way a little bit. And then we want to put somebody here, so let's go with one of our ogres maybe. Gweddry can move over there. All right, and then let's do some recruiting here. We're just going to need some bodies. Thinking maybe a heavy infantryman or a spearman even. Now let's do one of those. Move this mage out of the way. Put Grug up here. Actually, hang on. You know what? If we undo that, we can recruit somebody here. Let's do a fencer. And then Dacyn, we probably want to kind of get out of harm's way a little bit because he needs to survive. So there's no sense putting him at risk if we don't need to. The unfortunate part is this tile does not provide as much defense as these ones do. So if we are going to let the undead come at us, it's probably better to let them go in right here. And for our horses, I guess, it doesn't really matter if they're on one of these tiles or one of these. They have the same defense, so they can kind of sit there and defend that. Our netcaster, we should probably rotate around here. Thinking we maybe go... kind of like... we'll go like this and like that. We can keep these two sorted together, I think. Yeah, oh man, this is ugly. Ugly, ugly, ugly. And remember, our newly recruited units are basically throwaway, expendable if needed. So there's a lot happening out in the mist that we can't see. You know, it kind of makes sense to pair Dacyn with our Rune Master, who has that Bane Blade. Because, of course, the Bane Blade gives them chaotic alignment. Oh, here we go. All rad, about to go down. Oh, poor guy. I may die, but Wesnoth will never fall. Sure hope you're right. Ooh, Owiek taking some damage, and I don't have any healing for him either. Jeez, that was a mistake. Nice work from Grog there. Alright, well, no huge problem. We just have to rotate Owiek back, I guess. Okay, well, this Revenant is ready to get killed, so let's do that if we can here. Man, that's brutal. Really hoping for that kill. That being said, if Grog gets the kill, he will level up, so... Or be very close to it. Yeah, 192 out of 197, so Grog is about to level, which is good for him. So we'll have to figure out what to do with Owiek now, because we need him to heal. But I think this is going to be a good place to actually leave it, so we will save it right here. And call this part 1. We'll have to see what we can do in part 2. So, as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.